Well, these are the first pictures of the January 2013 wet season, just for council to show them how our dams are filling up with silt. This is outside of our property on the road that leads past our front gate, heading down to the Barron River. It's picking up quite a bit of silt and sediment there. This is on the other side of that same road, showing the water that's being led off these little side bunds that the council puts in, directing the water into the neighbour's gully. And most of the erosion problems are actually on the neighbour's property. Our dams, which collect water from the gully that comes out of the neighbour's property, are the silt harvesters, which you see in a minute. That's a little structure the neighbour built, just to run the water out on contour a little bit, and of course then it has to drop off at some point, and so he dropped it off here, and you follow that down. That's causing a little bit of an erosion. Whoop, had a bit of a trip, and then down into the gully, and then that water meanders down through this lightly eucalypt gully. It doesn't have cattle on it, so there's not much water infiltration, but as you'll see here, the water coming off the council road is quite murky and brown, and the water that's coming out of the catchment, the gully itself, well, you can't really see much water, but whatever was trickling down through there was very clear. So point being is that the silt and the sediment that's, I guess, filling up our dams is coming directly off the dirt leads to our place. And here it is following it down the gully. And this is where we're going to be doing some work with Craig Sponholtz from Dryland Solutions, who we're bringing out in April to run some practical workshops in the region, one on a creek line up a sugarcane property, one of the largest sugarcane properties in Mossman, and then we're going to do something on the weekend for small acreage ourselves, where we've spoken to the neighbour and he's more than happy for us to get in there and move some rocks around. That's quite a large erosion section there. I mean, obviously there's a fair bit of water that's come down there to create that over time. Wasn't a major rain, this one, but it was certainly the first major one of the season, which is why I went out and actually took some footage. There's a little side cut here where water's obviously coming. You can see the water trickling through, and this is walking up to the boundary of the neighbour's property. Here's his fence line, and that's another one of those side runoffs that the council has put in, which is directing water into that gully. And this is looking down the road again towards our place. So back in the neighbour's gully again, and we'll just follow the path of the water. When Craig was here last time in 2012, we showed him this gully, and it was at that moment that we talked about the possibility of doing a little workshop on what type of structure would be most appropriate in this gully to slow the water down, trap some silt and sediment, and reduce the amount of incision that's obviously going to increase over time. And some decent grazing management would obviously go a long way to help with water infiltration as well. Unfortunately, the neighbour's also allowing us to have access to his 67 acres to run some cattle on, and that's something that we're looking forward to as well. So here we are with the water travelling underneath the access road, the neighbour's access road through the culvert. And this then leads straight into our property under our fence line. You can see the water slowing up here quite dramatically. We're dropping material out of the water, but at this stage, there's the fence line with a bit of piping running along it. and there's our gabion structure, which would have to be about 6 foot deep. There's at least 10 cubic metres of silt and sediment and sand. This has worked remarkably well, about a day and a half work to build that structure, which we put at the very top of our property before the water leads into that dam. So there's the pathway, water coming off the road, down the gully, through our fence line and into our little silt harvesting gabion structure. Leaky weir, Peter Andrews might call it. Quite a few bulrushes in here which did a great job of clearing this water up in the next couple of weeks. A little bit of rainforest section either side. There's a fair bit of hydration happening on this property now with this water harvesting infrastructure in place. The bamboos are going well. Here's one of the top swales. Had a lot more water in it in the next couple of weeks. And this is the other side of that road that we started looking at. We're actually harvesting water here. That used to run down the side of the road as it did on the other side. But we decided to put in a little diversion drain that once it hits our fence line here, it levels out, drops all the silt, and that turns into a swale. So water runs in, you can see it's still running there, and then it slows up. That's a level sill spillway without the mulch on top. So we're harvesting water, hydrating the landscape, and collecting potting mix. Just got to plant more trees.